We're Jimmy and Natalie, and we've been living on the road non-stop for the last 3 years. And despite traveling to numerous amazing destinations across 2 continents, we've barely scratched the surface of exploring what our home country has to offer. That's why we're setting out on our most ambitious road trip yet, the Great American Roadtrip. Our nomadic life has brought us to 18 states so far, and now we challenge ourselves to see all 50, and truly understand what people love about each one. To kick off this epic road trip, this week we journey to Washington and reach the farthest point we have ever been from our hometown. Upper left, USA! But not before we hike through an actual rainforest, tour the iconic Twilight town of Forks, and visit 2 coastal communities where Native Americans have lived for thousands of years. Last night we accidentally stumbled upon what I think is our new best campsite ever. We are dispersed camping for free in the middle of the rainforest of Washington, literally right next to the HoH River. We woke up for the sunrise this morning for the first time in I don't know how long.
It's obviously been a little bit since we posted our last video. I think it's getting close to 4 months now. And before we get any farther, I do just want to say thank you to everyone that's been patient, and thank you to everyone that has sent us a DM, making sure that we're okay. I do want to assure everyone we are. We just needed some time to ourselves, without the vlog for just a little bit. And I think it's paid off. We feel 1,000 times better. We're really excited to jump into things, and we've got a lot ahead of us this week. This honestly might be the biggest video we've ever planned before. I don't know if this will be a 2-parter, but we'll find out the same time you do, I guess, at the end of this video.
Last night, we were both in bed by 7:30 because we were so excited to wake up. We were like, I'm just ready for it to be tomorrow. Also, we don't have cell service at this spot, so that was a little bit of it too.
You don't have to tell them that part. So we have not given up on the plan to complete the Great American Road Trip. Last you saw of us, we ended our time in Colorado while we were on our way to Washington. And that is where we start today. You're gonna leave me hanging with the sunglasses?
Oh, you want? I can put mine on too.
Mine is 10 cool points. We didn't put them on together.
Oh, okay. We're obviously in the Pacific Northwest, our first time. We've been in this area for quite a while. I'd say probably like 4 to 6 weeks now. And part of the reason we wanted to wake up early this morning was to capture that classic Pacific Northwest fog. It's really cool and really mystical whenever you can get it. I think this was one of those mornings where it's just not very foggy.
So Natalie and I were scratching our heads trying to figure out what we should do to try to encapsulate all of the PNW in one day. And that's when we stumbled upon this great thing called the Hall of Mosses.
The Trail of Mosses is this really short trail in the middle of the rainforest, and it gives you a really good look at all the moss and mushrooms.
We just started the trail and there's already a deer 10 feet in front of us. We're like 20 feet into the trail.
I love all these ferns. They're so pretty.
She's not kidding. She's not stopped talking about the ferns. I know what plant we're gonna get next in the van.
Oh, we totally could. I just think the ferns are underrated compared to the mosses. I just want to take a second to thank our sponsor for today's video, BetterHelp. If you've been following our journey for a while, then you might have noticed that Jimmy and I recently took an extended break from posting videos. At the time, we were just dealing with the challenges of life and all the pressure that we put on ourselves. Wherever you are and whatever you do, burnout and depression are real, and they can have a very serious impact on your mental health. So if you are struggling, please do talk to someone, whether it be friends or family, or you might be interested in looking into therapy. And to be clear, you don't need a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety to benefit from therapy. If you are struggling in any form, it is so worth investing in yourself. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. Just in case you haven't heard, BetterHelp is a fantastic online platform that lets you connect and communicate with therapists so that you can get the most out of therapy. Getting started is easy. Just fill out a couple of questions about your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will match you with one of their 30,000 licensed professional therapists in as little as a couple of days. Then, once you're matched with someone, you can start communicating with them in whichever way you feel most comfortable, whether that's a phone call or a video chat or messaging. And for whatever reason, if you feel like the match isn't working out, BetterHelp makes it easy and free to switch to a different therapist until you find someone you really connect with. So if therapy sounds like something you could benefit from too, just go to betterhelp.com/JimmyandNatalie, which is also linked in our description, and you'll get 10% off your first month of therapy. Okay, now back to the video. Jimmy, you know something weird that I read? You know what kind of trees have the moss on them in this rainforest?
I think I already know, but it's surprising.
Oh, I think I already told you. All right, can you guess? What kind of trees have the moss growing on them out here? I'll give you a couple seconds. Maple trees. I didn't expect that.
Because you have to remember, we're from the East Coast, so when we think of maple trees, we do not think of rainforests.
I'm starting to think I don't know what a maple tree actually looks like.
I think I'm gonna have to go look it up after this hike, yeah. I'm pretty sure this photo is what convinced us to come here.
Yeah, it's like a pretty archway.
You gonna stay there for a sec?
Yeah.
Take your picture. Oh, you're good. I'm clearly not a mushroom hunter because I've only seen one. And it was a really obvious mushroom. Okay, here you go. So I think it's rolling.
Okay.
I'm gonna try something.
Oh, nice.
I'm a gymnast. I think you need about like 10 more inches. Okay. All right, this is all one continuous tree. There you go.
That's a big tree.
Well, that was a phenomenal hike. I'm pretty sure we said, wow, it's so beautiful, like 100 times.
Wow. Wow. That's so pretty. Wow. Wow. This is so pretty.
We unfortunately did not get to see the famous PNW fog this morning, but honestly, I totally forgot about that by the end of the hike.
Yeah, that was a lot of moss. So pretty. I have always been a really big Twilight fan, and if you know anything about Twilight, you might know that it's set in the state of Washington in a town called Forks, and that's a real town. So we're going into that town today, and they have got a bunch of stuff up celebrating Twilight and their connection to the books and the movies.
What was the sign?
Oh, Forks, oh, that's so cool.
That's in the
Whoa.
movie.
Yeah, that's...
Whoa.
That's so... It's already starting. Oh, there's Bella's truck. All right, we're gonna have to go back for that one.
What if I'm not the hero? What if I'm the bad guy?
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which as they kiss, consume.
That was perfect.
Had that memorized since I was 13, and it finally came in handy. We went through all of our clothes earlier today and tried to pick out the most Twilight outfits that we have, so that's what you're seeing. Forks has a bunch of Twilight related stuff. We're not gonna bore you with all the details going to see every little thing because there's a lot. We're gonna go and try and get the highlights. These are both replicas, but they're replicas of Bella's cars. That one is from the books, and then that one is from the movies.
Could you act human? I mean, I've got neighbors. Thanks.
I'm not a car guy, but I think that is a 1957. No, I get these mixed up. 1963 and 1953, and that's the main difference.
I just reread this part of the book last night where Bella gets her truck. And fun fact, this one has a working radio. They even did the seats the same as the movie. Bella's house, Bella's house, Bella's house, Bella's house. It's going. All right.
Run, Natalie, run. Bella's house.
Bella's house.
All right, give me some poses. Nice, give me another one. Very nice. Very dramatic. So someone really does live in this house, and they're nice enough to let tourists like us come by and take photos in front of their house. But there is no official parking, so you kind of just have to be really fast.
Also, it's an Airbnb. So Bella's trucks are parked at the Visitor Information Center, but there's another car from the movies that is parked at the Forks Transit Center and Rest Stop. If you haven't seen the movies, all you need to know is that Bella's dad is the police chief. And that's his car. The best thing about Charlie, he doesn't hover. You remember that line?
I do.
One of the best things about Charlie, he doesn't hover.
All I know about the guy that played Charlie in the movie is that apparently all the moms like him.
This is the last stop, I promise. This was Bella's high school. Although technically it wasn't filmed at this high school. The real high school they used is in Oregon. Most of the shots in the first movie were in Oregon, not Washington, which is kind of interesting. But they do show this sign.
Do you have any other quotes for me?
No, she's just so quiet. It's hard to quote her. Most of the movie is just staring. Of three things I was positively certain. 1, Edward was a vampire. 2, there was some part of him, and I didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And 3, I was unequivocally and irrevocably in love with him.
What type of movies were you watching as a kid? What is this?
Twilight over and over and over. I don't know if it's much better, but in my defense, I have read the books way more than I watched the movies.
She has, I can attest to that.
Quick stop for gas on our way to the next place. I've lost count of the number of reasons why Jimmy is the best.
Is this the gas station Bella used?
Probably. It's the only one in town.
I'm so excited for this. This was my decision to come here today since Natalie got to choose all the Twilight stuff. I chose a Beachcombing Museum. This reminds me of like the colorful markets that we saw in Baja.
Yeah, it does.
You know? Wasn't Timisoara. No, that's something else.
Todos Santos.
Todos Santos, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to imagine all of this would just be in the ocean if he hadn't picked it up.
So we're looking for pink stars, right?
Yeah, that's the more unique items have a pink star.
Among the list, there should be a whale skull, items from a tsunami, and a motorcycle. Oh,
I just found the whale.
we found the whale.
Did you know that was there?
No.
Oh, it's a gray whale.
It's like almost as tall as you.
It's a juvenile also, so he's not fully grown. So they were trying to launch a tourist into space twice in 2 weeks. And there's like a $10 million prize, and that was a piece from the failed launch with a test dummy.
Yeah, no one got hurt.
Yeah, thankfully. What are you writing?
There you go.
Oh, I love that.
So the person that collects these still collects all the stuff you find around here. And he says that this is a bottle that's going out to sea the next time he goes fishing.
I go out fishing, throw out some messages in bottles, but
Okay.
everything here all came off the beach.
So do you still do that, or is that,
I still
have
do
you
it
given
once
it
a
up?
week.
Once a week? Wow.
I'm going out Monday morning.
I can't fathom how long it took to build up everything here.
48 years.
So is it like weekly, 48 years basically?
Well, when I was younger, when the beachcombing was good, I was down there more often, you know. I spent 62 hours one time straight beachcombing when the glass floats were coming in.
Wow. That's dedication. So
That-
those are ribs from a gray whale?
I think that's the other skull too. And if I'm remembering right, I think John said this is a jawbone from a whale. Okay, hold the camera. How tall am I? Like, come on.
That's just a gray whale too.
I know.
Like, there's bigger whales than that one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like something strange about seeing all this stuff together in one place. It's like really surreal. He said he's been doing this for 48 years. Nowadays, I think he does it weekly, and so he still brings things back every week. Behind me stands 48 years of collected buoys.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy.
Wow.
So can I be just as excited about buoys as you are about Twilight? Is that possible?
It seems improbable, but
How?
I mean, obviously John is super excited about buoys because look at all this.
Yeah, someone is. All right, well, absolutely wild place to come check out if you're here in Forks. John's Beachcombing Museum. I was honestly blown away. I feel a little bad because I thought it would just be garbage. And I guess it is, that's kind of the point, but he really puts work into it. It's all separated into different sections. He organizes everything and he marks like the cool things to go see so you don't miss out on anything.
He takes what would become trash and turns it into sculptures and art and a museum, and I respect that. The owner, John, was super nice also. He gave me a sea seed, which is like driftwood, but it's a seed. And this one is from the Amazon Rainforest in South America. And he told me that it would grow if I planted it into one of those big vines that Tarzan swings on. Thank you. That's so cool.
That's so nice.
It'll still grow, but it has to be tropical or it dies.
That concludes our tour of Forks. After this, we're heading somewhere that's still a little bit related to the books, honestly, but it's on the beach. About 20 miles outside of the town of Forks, you'll reach the Quileute Reservation, and on that reservation, there is La Push Beach.
It's La Push.
La Push has 3 main beaches, creatively named First, Second, and Third Beach. Parking in Third was full, so we started with First. There, we discovered the biggest piece of driftwood I've ever seen. A washed-up tree that's so large, Google calls it Big Log Boy. And yes, that is with 5 eyes. Right off the coast is James Island, and also one of the coolest wildlife sightings we have ever experienced. Back to back, we saw a juvenile bald eagle, no more than 2 or 3 years old, and a fully grown one that flew right past us. After soaking it in, we headed off to hike to Second Beach with the goal of spotting more eagles.
We're half a mile from the beach right now, and it's still in the jungle.
Oh, there's a spider.
Oh.
Okay, no
Never
more
mind.
hugging rocks.
Well, as cool as all this is, we're on the lookout for eagles, nothing
Yeah.
else.
If we're gonna see any bald eagles, my uninformed expectation is that we're gonna see them in the trees, nesting on top of those big rock formations way out in the ocean. And then I think that they come down from their nest to go fish in the ocean when they wanna eat.
So how do you explain that one right there?
You're messing with me, right? Okay.
Yeah.
You got my hopes up a little bit.
So do you see any eagles yet?
No, I'm seeing crows and seagulls and pelicans, but no eagles right now.
What about that one right there?
That's so mean.
I feel like I'm not doing a good job selling it. It doesn't sound believable.
Well, I just, I'm not gonna not look. We stayed out on the beach for a while just watching for eagles, but we didn't see any at that beach. Still had a really good time hanging out on the beach, so all in all, it was a win.
So we have driven about an hour north of Forks. We've already had dinner. It was spaghetti. Don't worry, it was delicious. We've made it to a campsite on the beach. It is really crowded since it's a Saturday night.
That makes me feel a little bit safer, honestly, just having other campers around.
Honestly, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll just pick you up tomorrow. We are absolutely exhausted, so we'll see you then.
Good morning. I've got to be a little quiet because we've got some neighbors and they might not be awake yet.
So can you see that over there?
The tent or the sunrise?
The fog.
The fog?
We finally found it. It's the PNW fog.
We finally got some.
Yeah, we basically had to skip yesterday because it rained all day. And I'm glad it did because we've got one more hike picked out in the PNW and I cannot wait to see it in the fog. Yeah, the campsite we picked out is absolutely amazing. It's like 20 feet from the start of the beach. And not only that, but the mountains you see in the distance, that's Canada. That's how close we are. That's an eagle right there. That's an eagle, all right.
That's crazy. That's like so once in a lifetime. Our Great American Road Trip is about to hit its first extreme point of the United States. Where we're heading is on the Macaw Indian Reservation, and it's the northwesternmost point of the continental United States. We have driven as far as we can, and now we gotta hike the rest of the way. You know I'm happy because there's a bunch of ferns on this trail.
Oh gosh, that's why you were excited?
Yeah, they're pretty. These boards look slippery.
They do look pretty slippery. So the point we're going to does have a name. It's called Cape Flattery. And like Natalie mentioned, it is the most northwestern point of all of the contiguous US. I know some might argue that our Great American Road Trip doesn't really start until we get to this point because it's the farthest point that we could possibly get from the East Coast. But
we make the rules. We made it! Yay!
nice!
Upper left USA! Wow! Oh my god. This is the northwesternmost point on the United States. It's also the farthest that Jimmy and I have ever been from our home state of South Carolina within the United States. We're on Cape Flattery right now, and what we're looking out at, that's HoH Island, named after one of the Macaw Indian chiefs. That little lighthouse on the island is called the Cape Flattery Lighthouse. It's not being used anymore, but it's still standing and it's very pretty.
And as far as I know, there's no way for tourists like us to get on the island. I do want to look out for key wildlife though. From here, you're supposed to be able to see a ton of things, but I'm looking out for gray whales, puffins, and maybe a bald eagle, but honestly, we've seen a lot of bald eagles so far.
It's crazy because this is like a really cool point, but just beyond the name, this would be an incredible place to visit anyway, because it is gorgeous right here. I think that's a whale. That's definitely a whale.
Right there.
Oh my god. Oh, that's cool. That's a gray whale. Wow, his blowhole. Oh, his little tail.
All right, so we have seen the gray whale, and now the only one that we're on the search for is the tufted puffin. Unfortunately, I was doing some research, and I think it's really hard to spot them without an actual wildlife expert here with you. But that's what Natalie's for.
Aw, that would be crazy. Yeah, they're really hard to spot because they go underwater and they're only up on the surface for a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
But this is supposed to be one of the best places in Washington to spot them, so.
So we're keeping our fingers crossed.
You look so cool up there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm looking for tufted puffins, whatever they're called, tufted puffins. Say that 3 times fast.
Tufted puffins, tufted puffins, tufted puffins.
Just showing off now.
That's so pretty.
Oh.
There's a bird. It just landed. Is that a puffin?
Is that a puffin?
No, it's not. No,
It's not, is it?
No, it's
Can puffins fly?
He didn't have a little orange beak.
I thought he had an orange beak. Yeah, it's like the orange feet.
Are those the oyster catchers?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe? Oh, look at that one.
Flap. Flap. Oh, there he goes. He's flapping.
He's fun.
Absolutely amazing to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you.
I was talking to the vlog.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, thank you guys.
All right. I don't even know where to begin with this story.
Crazy story time.
Like, we just wanted to go get some food, but we ran into this wild thing. I feel like it was very rare, is what I'm trying to say.
Extremely rare thing that we just witnessed. We were gonna take our lunch to a really scenic spot on the bay to eat it, but on our way there, we came across something absolutely insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic, and we thought that was weird for a dead-end road. We got to the end of the dead-end traffic, and there was a dead gray whale on the beach. Where the members of the community were in the middle of harvesting it. We talked to one of the locals for a little bit, and she very nicely but sternly, told us we couldn't be there, and she also said no photos. And so that's why we don't have any footage of it, and I don't even know if we would show it if we did.
So when we first drove by, they were cutting away what I think is called the saddle, which is a part of the whale skin, and that has some type of significance to the Makah tribe. I believe that one goes to the chief's family from what I've read online. That was a crazy thing to witness, because I think that's super rare.
Yeah, so like a little history lesson, if you could bear with me. The Makah tribe had signed a treaty back in 1855 or so, basically giving away hundreds of thousands of acres of land to the US government in exchange for them being able to continue hunting gray whales, because that's how, the tribe has lived and prospered for so long, right?
Their ancestors have been whaling for centuries, long before the United States was even a thing.
And then in the 1920s, when gray whales became endangered, the community stopped. And so they stopped for about 70 years, and then in 1994, the gray whale was no longer on the endangered species list. They essentially hunted their first gray whale in 1999. I think the tribe is dealing with a lot because legally they can, but then there's a lot of issues, especially because it was once on the endangered species list.
The issues that the commercial whaling industry has caused in terms of way over killing whales has caused a lot of controversy around them being able to go and do their ancestral hunt.
As far as we knew, they hunted one whale in 1999. There were some folks that went against the tribe's intentions, in 2007, I think. They hunted another one then. And as far as I know, I thought that was it. So it was wild to see one today on the beach.
Yeah.
So
I wonder if he washed up or if there was a hunt. I don't know.
It's very interesting. Hopefully no one thinks that we're trying to give a statement about it. We're just showing you the facts of what we've learned.
We're just tourists. We're not
just
qualified.
Tourists. Well, on that note.
Yeah. All right. Well, we found a different spot to stop and eat lunch, and we're starving, so I'm gonna tear into these.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we got a cute little Oreo milkshake to split, and they gave us whipped cream. Okay, try some.
Mm-hmm. It's almost all melted now because we had to drive around a whale to get to it, but.
Still good though. We'll see you guys next time for the rest of our Washington travels, where we catch a ferry into the big city.
So this is Natalie and my first time in Seattle. Check it out.
and attempt one last hike before we leave our 19th state.